it looks like all the guys in this field are coming in fresh. We don't have guys who are doubling back necessarily off of the mile or the 800. We had that over on the women's side a little bit earlier. Here's Wes Porter of Virginia. He's going to have his teammate Gary Martin on their anchor leg. And here is Ethan Strand. He will have anchor duties for University of North Carolina. Of course, the collegiate record holder at both the mile and the 3,000. But first, his focus is on doing it all for his team, giving him everything he can in this DMR.
Well, we caught up with Ethan Strand yesterday to talk about how important his performance at the Olympic trials was last year.
I think the experience at trials really, I guess, showed me what I was capable of when I'm not passive in the race. As I really went up and put myself in the race and gave myself the best possible chance to make a team, and I got a good result out of it. So yeah, definitely have taken that lesson that I learned into these last few seasons, and definitely going to use it tomorrow. Just don't be passive.
Well, you got to admire a guy that's going to sacrifice his own personal ambitions. This is, after all, an individual sport. Very few team opportunities in track and field. It's the relays, and this is one of them. 1,200 meters, 400 meters, 800 meters, then 1,600 meters. The opening leg is 6 laps of this 200-meter track. They will stay in those groups until they finish the second full curve, then break for the pole, and you hope that the pace is fast enough where there isn't a lot of congestion when they go to pass the baton for the first time.
And as we're looking at this lead leg, worth noting, you have Stitt there of Oklahoma State up front for them. Everyone kind of like moving around and trying to get themselves into position, but you do see Parker Wolf from North Carolina there. He's got hip 3, the white and baby blue top with the darker bottoms. He's trying to navigate through some traffic. He was the runner-up at both the 3,000 and the 5,000 of this indoor championship last year, went on to win the title outdoors at 5K, but he has battled through so much, had some illness earlier in the indoor season, so certainly not. There he is right there as he bounces to the outside, not necessarily feeling as strong as he typically would at this point of the year, but North Carolina is assembling the best possible four that they can to contend for a title. Look at the outside of the track right now. That's Lucas Santorum, Texas A&M, trying to battle his way up front. The Aggies won the SEC championship just a couple of weeks ago, as Parker Wolf does an outstanding job of navigating the Tar Heels up to the front.
Up to that point, it had been Gabriel Angiono, the freshman for Georgetown. He's now back tied for third for Oregon. That is Thomas Palfrey, the junior, in the green of Oregon. You can see a lot of contact. Athletes moving out into lane 2, sometimes lane 3, just to stay out of trouble.
Parker Wolf hadn't raced since he and his teammate Ethan Strand ran that exceptional 3,000 earlier in this season. And Coach Chris Miltenberg says that although he may not be on his A-plus game, he does not care, just wants to go compete. He has Oregon in tow as well, with Thomas Palfrey leading off on their 1,200. Palfrey's going to see what he can do before the exchange, trying to put them up front. Stitt doing an exceptional job of Oklahoma State to have them right there in the hunt as well.
Oregon, North Carolina, Oklahoma State, Georgetown, and BYU. Those are your top 5 in the final lap of the opening 1,200-meter leg, and Oregon forging a little bit of a gap there to make the baton pass a little less dangerous. That's Virginia in fourth. And you can see the congestion. The outgoing runners have got to navigate the way through some of the incoming runners. This is the 400-meter leg. And for Oregon, that is Fuad Omer, the sophomore. For Virginia, Alex Sherman. For Oklahoma State, Jordan Smith.
And this Virginia team is loaded with seniors. In fact, 2 or 5th-year seniors, so looking to make a lasting impact, make their impression on the program, going to give everything they have to try to put Gary Martin in a position to anchor them to a victory.
BYU now in the mix, passing North Carolina. Second exchange. 47-2 for Oregon's 400-meter runner, Fuad Omer. Oregon continues in the lead. BYU now second. Cowboys of Oklahoma State third. Virginia fourth. North Carolina fifth. And then A&M, there is Sam Whitmarsh. He did not qualify for the Open 800. Got a very late start to the season based on some illnesses and injuries. Won the SEC title for them, and now is running a leg on the distance medley relay for the Aggies.
For Oklahoma State, Mehdi Yanori ran this leg on their championship relay last year, so very experienced in these types of situations. We talked about this earlier with the women's DMR. With this leg, this 800-meter leg, you don't want to do too much too quickly. Use all the time that you have with that first 52-second first 400. Use the time that you have to put yourself in position. Oftentimes you can overrun the first half of this 800-meter leg, but Mehdi Yanori has done an exceptional job of kind of reeling in Oregon with James Harding. Meanwhile, BYU has put themselves in fantastic position as well with Tyler Matthews. Virginia in fourth, UNC in fifth.
So it's Yanuri for Oklahoma State into the lead for the Cowboys. Oregon still in hot pursuit with James Harding. For BYU, that is Tyler Matthews, the freshman, on the 800-meter leg as they get ready for the final exchange.
And Sam Whitmarsh is making a big move to try to get that baton up another place or two.
Pretty clean exchange. Now the 1600-meter leg. Oklahoma State, Oregon, BYU, A&M. So for Oklahoma State, it's Ryan Shoppy on the anchor. For Oregon, Elliott Cook. Strand for North Carolina back in sixth place, but there's lots of time here in this 1600-meter leg to move yourself through the field.
And I talked with Ethan Strand about just the decision to not race the mile, to instead run the DMR and the 3000. He said, pretty easy decision based on what I was excited about. Certainly a joint decision with coach. He said, just do what you're going to do to run your best in terms of what you're excited about racing. And that's really what it came down to. And Coach Chris Miltenberg said the most fun part is just the collective of these guys doing it together. 57-7, that first 400.
That's Cooper Cothra for the Aggies in fourth. Sam Whitmarsh split 1:45.8 for the Aggies to get them in this thing. Now it's Cothra's job to improve on their current fourth place position. Virginia in fifth, North Carolina and Ethan Strand still in sixth, but still within easy striking distance as they come by with 5 laps remaining.
Gary Martin has Virginia in a great position as well, and much like we heard Ethan Strand talk about wanting to do it for the team, that's also Gary Martin's approach, knowing how many seniors had put their all into this program, wanting to do it for them, sacrifice going in the mile. So here you have the 2 fastest milers in the NCAA with Ethan Strand and Gary Martin going to do whatever they can for their team over these last 4 laps. Meanwhile, Ryan Shoppy has been exceptional in these types of situations. Coach Smith said he is the best anchor I have ever had. Ryan Shoppy is 2 for 3 so far in anchoring championship DMRs.
Oklahoma State, the defending champions, still out front. They'll come around with 3 laps remaining. It's Oklahoma State, Oregon, BYU, A&M. And now here comes Ethan Strand for the Tar Heels, moving up. Cothra starting to fade a little bit there for Texas A&M. Strand going wide to try to improve his position on the backstretch and drops into third, stays out in lane 2, into second, and now decides he'll take the lead with 2 laps remaining.
He said he was so excited for the opportunity to race with a baton in his hand. He said the DMR is the main focus. We'll get to the 3K when we get to it.
Ethan Strand in North Carolina in full flight. Gary Martin of Virginia stalking. Oregon fading. A&M back into fourth. Cowboys back to fifth. They're out of it. Bell lap. The two fastest milers in the collegiate ranks on the last lap of the DMR. 27 flat, last 200. Strand, Martin. To my eyes, Martin looks better. And Martin goes into the lead. He just looks smoother. Strand is beaten. It's going to be Virginia. They've never won it. Cavaliers win it in a meet record. North Carolina second, Oregon third.
That is everything you wanted to see with the athletes that you had on that anchor leg. 54-7, closing 400 meters from Gary Martin, who wanted to do this for the upperclassmen, for the seniors that have put this program in contention. Gary Martin, what a special performance, meet record performance. And look at this, the respect between those two guys, Ethan Strand, Gary Martin, so many great battles between them. 3:48.12, the split for Gary Martin. And he knows he has it coming down the home stretch.
He just looked better on the backstretch when he made that move, and he made the move with authority and with momentum, and it just deflated Ethan Strand, who by the way ran 3:49.23 for his leg. Remember that 1,600 meters, 9 meters short of a mile, but still that is some running. And Gary Martin and his Virginia Cavaliers winning the event for the first time ever in a meet record 9:15.12. North Carolina second, and the Oregon Ducks finishing third. John Anderson is down with the winning quartet.
I am here with the winning quartet. Before we get really into the interview, you guys want to give me a wahoo wah? No? Wahoo wah, baby. All right, I'm here with the Who's. Wes Porter, what did you do to win a national championship today?
I just did my job. We knew the first 3 legs, we were just like, oh, we don't have to do anything special. Just each try to do, like, win our legs, do the best we can, and just give Gary the baton and watch him do his thing.
So we talked that obviously the 400 is the shortest leg, but it seems to me it's also sort of dangerous. You're in there with a lot of people. How do you make that exchange clean so you can get out of there?
I mean, there's a lot of congestion right at the start. I mean, thankfully we got the baton rather smoothly. Took it, got out, try to drop as many people as you can, try to separate yourself from the field. That's really all you can do.
So, Connor, you want to win? Got to be fast, but you can't hurry too much. How did you pace your 4 laps?
I mean, it's pretty simple. No need to be in a rush. Just get the baton around the track to Gary Martin. He knows what he's doing. The job was that simple.
So we've got, what, senior, 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 and then you hand it off to a neophyte and just hope it goes right. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's a lot of pressure. How'd you handle that?
You know, it's a lot of pressure, but like you said, we've done this before, we've been there, so I think I just got to treat it like any other race, stay calm. It's easy to get excited at a national meet, but just save the energy for the last 2 laps.
So obviously you could have been in the open mile and taken a chance there. Why is this one special?
I think we have a special group of guys, and like you just said, we got 3 seniors, and a chance like this doesn't come often where you can put together the best DMR of the country and 1, set the collegiate record, and 2, win a national title. So I think I really had to capitalize on this, and it's pretty special to be a part of this group.
Big day for the UVA Cavaliers. Wahoo wah, they're the national champs in the DMR. Congrats, guys. Dwight?
A team that had never